There's a voice inside you, the one that tells you you're not enough, not ready, not worthy. But what if that voice isn't the truth? What if, with every kind word, you could rewire your mind and turn self-criticism into power, fear into trust, and doubt into self-love? This is how healing begins. There's a voice inside you. You know it well. Speaks when you look in the mirror, when you make a mistake, when you're about to take a risk or try something new. Sometimes it whispers softly, and other times it shouts, but it always has something to say. And for many of us, that voice is not kind. It tells us we're not enough, not ready, not worthy. It reminds us of the times we failed, of the people who didn't understand us, of the moments when we felt small or invisible. This inner critic, this voice of fear, can become so familiar that we start to believe it's us. We forget that it was learned, absorbed from the words, the energy, and the expectations of others. Louise Hay used to say, "Every thought we think is creating our future." And when that inner voice speaks in the language of fear, it shapes a future that feels just as limiting. But here's the truth she taught so beautifully. That voice is not who you are. It's only a pattern, a habit of thought. And habits can change. When you begin to listen consciously, you discover that you have the power to edit the script of your inner dialogue. You can rewrite the story. You can become your own source of encouragement instead of criticism. And that shift, from judgment to compassion, from shame to empowerment, is where transformation begins. Think of your mind as a garden. Every thought is a seed. Some grow wild and dark. Others bloom with color and fragrance. The soil doesn't judge what's planted. It simply nourishes whatever it receives. Your subconscious mind works the same way. It accepts every word you repeat, especially the ones spoken with emotion. When you say, "I can't," or "I'm not good enough," your mind believes you. It begins to shape reality around those words. But when you say, "I'm learning," "I'm growing," "I'm willing," your subconscious listens just as deeply, and slowly it begins to rearrange your beliefs to support that new truth. Louise often reminded us that changing our thoughts isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about creating a relationship with your mind based on compassion instead of cruelty. For years, many of us have practiced self-criticism like a religion. We've mastered the art of being hard on ourselves. But what if we practice kindness with the same devotion? What if the voice inside your head became the one that lifted you up, instead of tearing you down? Starts with awareness. The next time you catch yourself thinking, "I always mess things up," pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? You don't need to judge it. Just observe. You might notice that most of your negative self-talk isn't original. It's recycled. Echoes of parents, teachers, old fears, or past pain. But the moment you see it clearly, you create space. And in that space, you can choose again. Louise taught that affirmations are not magic spells. They're statements of intention, a conscious way of training the mind to support you rather than sabotage you. Try saying something simple. "I am willing to change." It may not sound powerful, but it is. Because willingness opens the door that resistance has kept closed for years. Even if part of you doesn't believe it yet, your willingness begins to shift the vibration. The mind starts to soften. The old programming starts to loosen. And little by little, a new voice begins to emerge. One that feels like truth. One that feels like love. Negative self-talk thrives in silence and unconsciousness. It feeds on autopilot thinking. But awareness breaks the cycle. Every time you catch a critical thought and replace it with a compassionate one, you are rewiring the brain. Neuroscience now confirms what Louise Hay knew intuitively decades ago, that thoughts literally create pathways in the mind, and the more you repeat them, the stronger they become. Affirmations are the conscious act of carving new pathways, routes of trust, peace, and self-approval. So when you say, "I am worthy," you're not just reciting words. You're building new neural connections that teach your body and mind what it feels like to be enough. This is the beginning of empowerment, to realize that you are not the voice of fear. You are the awareness that listens to it. And from that awareness, you have the power to choose a new tone, a new energy, a new story. At some point, we all internalize the voice of criticism. It might have started with an offhand comment, a parent saying, "Why can't you do anything right?" Or a teacher marking your work in red. Those words don't just disappear. They plant roots. They shape the way you speak to yourself. Even decades later, you might hear them when you make a mistake, when you look in the mirror, when you try something new. That's how the inner critic is born, not as an enemy, but as a frightened protector. It tries to keep you safe by keeping you small. Louise Hay once said, "You have been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens." That simple invitation changes everything. Because when you move from self-judgment to self-approval, you stop fighting your mind and start befriending it. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. The monsters that terrified you turn out to be shadows, projections of old beliefs. And in that light, you can finally see them for what they are. Wounded thoughts asking to be healed. You might think, "But I can't just start loving myself. I don't believe it." And that's okay. You don't have to start with belief. You start with willingness. Affirmations are not about forcing faith. They are about opening the door. When you whisper, "I am willing to love and accept myself," you're planting the seed. It may not bloom overnight, but each repetition waters it. And slowly, the soil of your subconscious begins to change. Let's imagine a real moment. You wake up late. You miss an appointment. Immediately, the voice begins. "You're so irresponsible. You'll never get your life together." Stop, breathe, and gently say to yourself, "I did my best this morning. I choose to treat myself with kindness." Notice what happens inside you. At first, the old voice might resist. It will say, "That's not true." But you don't argue. You just keep choosing kindness. Because repetition is what built the negative voice. And repetition is what will transform it. Self-talk is energy. And energy creates form. The vibration of, "I can't" collapses your body. The vibration of, "I am learning" opens it. Your shoulders drop. Your breath deepens. Your heart softens. The body always responds to the language of the mind. That's why Louise Hay often encouraged people to affirm, "I am safe," because safety is the foundation of healing. When you feel safe, you can grow. Think about the times you've spoken harshly to yourself. Would you ever speak that way to a child? Would you tell them they're unworthy, or that their mistakes define them forever? Of course not. So why do we speak that way to the child within us? Every cruel thought toward yourself lands on the ears of that inner child, and every gentle thought heals them. That's what self-talk really is. A conversation between who you are now and the parts of you that still need love. Here's a simple practice Louise often suggested. Stand in front of a mirror. Look into your own eyes and say out loud, I am doing the best I can. I am learning to love and accept myself. I am willing to believe that I am enough. You might cry. You might laugh. You might feel resistance. But that's okay, it means something is shifting. You're meeting yourself where no one else ever did. You're becoming your own source of safety, and that's how you take your power back. True empowerment doesn't come from perfection, comes from acceptance. When you stop judging your emotions and start listening to them, they stop needing to scream. When you speak to yourself with patience, the mind relaxes, the body softens, and life begins to mirror that gentleness back to you, because the world always responds to the tone in which you speak to yourself. You are not broken. You are becoming. Every thought is a brushstroke in the portrait of your inner world, and now you are learning to paint with love. So when the voice of fear rises again, as it will, smile gently and say, I hear you. Thank you for trying to protect me, but I choose love instead. That's not denial. That's mastery. That's the beginning of freedom. There comes a moment in this journey when you begin to hear the echo of your own words, and they sound different, not because life has suddenly become perfect, but because you are listening from a softer place. You no longer believe every critical thought that passes through your mind. You pause. You breathe. You notice. And in that pause, a quiet shift begins. You realize that you are not the thought. You are the awareness behind it. This realization changes everything, because awareness is power. It allows you to choose, and choice is freedom. Louise Hay often said that healing is never about blame, not blaming others, and not blaming ourselves. It's about understanding. It's about becoming conscious. When you start to notice how your self-talk shapes your emotions, and how your emotions shape your energy, you begin to see the invisible architecture of your life. The thoughts you think in private create the tone of your world in public. If your inner voice is harsh, you move through life defensively. But when your inner voice becomes gentle, the world begins to feel safer, more open, more kind. It doesn't mean challenges disappear. It means you meet them with a new kind of strength, a strength that is rooted in trust, not fear. Think about it. Every time you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, and instead whisper, I am learning how, you shift the entire vibration of that moment. You are literally teaching your body how to relax. In the presence of uncertainty, that's what emotional empowerment really is. Not pretending to be fearless, but learning to stay open, even when fear is present. Louise Hay taught that our words are like orders to the universe. Every sentence is a command. Every thought is a request. And the universe, ever faithful, says, as you wish. So when you say, I'm always unlucky, the universe replies, okay. When you say, no one ever sees my worth, says, all right. But when you say, I am ready to see my own value, the universe rearranges itself to mirror that truth back to you. That's not wishful thinking. It's resonance. Energy responds to energy. Belief calls forth its reflection. And every time you speak with self-love, you raise the frequency of your entire being. This is why affirmations work. They are not lies you tell yourself. They are bridges between where you are and where you are becoming. Even if you don't fully believe the words yet, keep saying them, because one day, your body will recognize them as truth. Here are some affirmations inspired by Louise Hay's teachings that you can begin to integrate into your daily life. I am my own safe place. When the world feels uncertain, I can return to the stillness inside me. I release the habit of self-criticism and choose thoughts that nurture my growth. I speak to myself with love every day. My words heal, they do not harm. I am willing to believe that I am enough, right now as I am. I forgive myself for not knowing what I didn't know before. I honor my journey and all that it has taught me. I am open to becoming my greatest source of encouragement. Repeat them softly. Feel them in your body. Let each one land not just in your mind, but in your heart. Because the subconscious doesn't understand words alone. It understands feeling. So when you speak, speak with warmth. Speak with presence. Speak as if you are comforting the most tender part of yourself. There's a quiet revolution that begins when you talk to yourself kindly. Your nervous system begins to relax. Your body begins to trust you again. And in that safety, healing can finally take place. Many people think empowerment is about strength, about control or dominance. But real empowerment is gentleness. It's when you no longer abandon yourself. In the moments you need your own love the most. When you speak to yourself as a friend, you stop needing constant validation from others. You stop chasing approval, because you've already given it to yourself. That is self-worth. That is power. Louise often said, "You've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens." And when you finally do, when you try approving of yourself, even just a little, something extraordinary happens. You stop seeking love in the wrong places. You stop fighting life, and life starts to meet you where you are. People respond differently. Opportunities flow more naturally, because your energy no longer says, "I'm not enough." It says, "I am whole." There will still be days when the old voice returns, the critic, the doubt, the fear. But now you know what to do. You pause, you breathe, you listen, and then you choose again. You choose the tone of love. You choose to speak kindly. You choose to empower instead of punish. This practice is not about perfection. It's about presence. Healing doesn't mean you never fall back into old patterns. It means you no longer stay there. You rise faster. You forgive sooner. You love deeper. So take a moment now. Close your eyes. Place a hand on your heart. And say softly, "I am willing to change the way I speak to myself. I am willing to believe that I deserve kindness. I am ready to be my own source of love." Feel the peace that follows. That quiet, steady warmth. That's your power returning to you. Because self-love is not arrogance. It's alignment. It's remembering that you were never broken, only learning to listen. The journey of transforming negative self-talk is not about silencing your mind. It's about reteaching it to speak with compassion. And every time you choose gentleness over judgment, every time you turn criticism into care, you create ripples, not just in your life, but in the collective consciousness. Because when one person chooses love over fear, the vibration lifts for everyone. You become the living proof that healing is possible, that words can rebuild what was once broken, that thought can become medicine. So the next time your mind tells you, "You can't," you'll smile and whisper, "Watch me," not from defiance, but from peace. Because now you know the truth. Your thoughts create your reality, and you are the thinker. You are the creator. You are the love you've been waiting for. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe for more gentle reminders of your inner power.